What I want to talk about on today's call is the state of marketing, the power of focus, Facebook advertising, the best 3 sales questions, video marketing, the importance of faces.
This call is being recorded.
What I want to focus on for my part of the call here is what I'm calling the perfect sales page. And it's funny, one of the most gratifying things, and it's sort of equally gratifying and frustrating, is when someone takes your technology and sort of does a better job with it than you have. Like, and that's not a knock on anybody on this call, but like when we signed up Eric Thomas and we launched etinspires.com, like between his team and between Jess and Tyler from our team, like their sales page for Breathe University is amazing. Like it is awesome. And it really inspired me to say, you know what? While our sales page is good and it gets the job done, what are the elements that truly make a great sales page? Like what needs to be there? What doesn't need to be there? How should it be there? So I'm going to go through a list, and this is not really, Mike, meant to be like in a particular order. I want to preface that first. Like, I'm not sort of talking through like the structure of it necessarily, but I want to go through the required elements of a perfect sales page. And the first one is video. Like, I heard this guy one time at a conference, and he said, you know, everybody's marketing requires you to lean in. Meaning, if you're reading a blog post or if you're on your phone reading something, like you kind of always have to lean in and look at it and kind of touch it. But when you do video marketing, it's lean back marketing. Because, like, as an example, our culture video, which is amazing, when somebody hits play, they've got a minute 50 where they can lean back. And that's a big deal to get people to slow down. The other thing that the videos do is they bring in physiology and tone. Normally, people are reading your words, and words are only 7% of how people communicate. So by having great videos, we are able to convey our message at 100%. The other thing that's required is testimonials. And we've always done a good job of collecting testimonials, but I want to challenge us to do those better and different. Like, social proof is very powerful. Like, if you screen grab a tweet, or if you screen grab a Facebook post, or if you screen grab like a Google Plus review, that is actually going to be so much more credible to a stranger than if Mike does like a pretty design of like a Matt Lloyd quote. Now, I'm not suggesting we get rid of our dedicated testimonials page. What I'm suggesting is that when we bring our testimonials into the sales page, we almost do more of a screen grab approach versus a really like highly designed approach. Now, we can design the screen grabs, Mike, don't freak out, but ultimately they saying we're great in public forums on sites people trust is always going to be more impactful than just us saying, hey, here's all of our reviews. Like, think about for a consumer, you know, if they see that the review was left on Zillow, that's going to obviously be a lot more impactful than if it's just, you know, like a review that the client said they got a year ago from someone. Like, social proof might actually do better than well-designed testimonials. And I'm completely convinced that video testimonials are a required element of a perfect sales page. So I'm excited for Steve. I don't know if you're ready to share the Matt Lloyd video, the dedicated one, but we also, you know, not only do we have the culture video, we now have some great testimonials videos. The other thing that's required is accolades. Like, trust always matters. And people trust the ink list that we just made. People trust Entrepreneur. People trust USA Today. People, well, maybe not them, right, with all the fake news, but people trust, you know, these sort of ad weeks and the Amex Open Forum. So accolades are definitely a critical part third-party accolades of a great sales page. And the way I thought about this when I was researching it was, for years and years, the way companies would build trust and credibility online was through BBB. Like they would have like a Better Business Bureau stamp. Or there was some research Steve and I did for the conversion code where like they have those little things when you go to make a payment with your credit card online and it says like protected by VeriSign. Like you guys would be amazed at like what happens to the conversion rate on a credit card form when you have that sort of trust that this form is protected by VeriSign. So I thought about it where basically like featured in Inc., featured in USA Today, that is the new BBB. That is the new VeriSign. The other thing that's required, and Steve touched on this, we need amazing copy that showcases our company's personality. Like if you were to go and say, hey, what do you think of Curaytor? Describe Chris and Jimmy, describe the company. One of the words that would come up would be swagger. One of the words that would come up would be funny, relatable, focused, passionate, innovative. Like we actually do a fairly poor job on our sales page today of actually conveying the company's personality through our writing. We do a great job through the videos, but the writing feels a lot more mechanical and like almost like too professional compared to who we really are. So like as an example, Steve, I want you to think about this. I want people to smile while they're reading our sales page. I want you to optimize for chuckles. We need to use power words. Like I want you guys to go back to the workbook from last year from our conference, and I want you to really focus on the power word section. And again, props to Tyler for taking the lead on the marketer page and doing that. Like Steve, I also don't know if that's ready to share, but if it is, drop it in Slack. But like when I was reading Tyler's first version of the marketer page, it really kind of embodied a lot of the stuff that we just talked about. It was snarky, it was clever, it was cute, it was relevant, it had confidence, it was funny. So let's be okay getting super creative with our words, not just with our images and with our videos. The other thing that I think is critical on a sales page, and this is actually going to be what my whole call today is about with the sales team, is stories. Like storytelling is what sells. A sneak peek of the data from my other call, the London School of Business found that people retain 65 to 70% of the information shared via a story, and they actually only retain about 5 to 10% of information that's conveyed through statistics. So when we first started the sales page, I remember there was like kind of a letter from the founder, right? And it was like, man, when I got into the real estate industry, I used to drive to 2 offices a day every day. And I'll never forget my first appointment where these 3 people were so frustrated with their computer that they wanted to throw it out the window. Like that is storytelling. But you can also do storytelling through the client success stories. Like I want to start bringing in the client stories into the sales page. And I also want us to be confident enough to link to them. Like normally the perfect sales page is like so focused on like no one leaving. It's just like you just only want them to hit that one button that's like buy now, right? Or contact us, right? And that's just a foolish mindset. Like we need to have the confidence as a company to send people away from the sales page knowing they'll come back. And I think our client stories are a great way to do that. The other thing that you have to do with a great sales page is you have to do what I call appease the skimmer and the shopper. So what I mean by that is I actually want someone to be able to know exactly what we do if they're there for 30 seconds. But I also want them to be able to stay for 30 minutes if they want to. So think about the way that we currently have the sales page, where it's sort of like cab, and it's like, here's the things we do to help you create content. Here's the things we do to help you run ads. Here's the things that we do to make you blast emails. Here's the things our marketers can do. Here's what our coaching's about. Well, to appease the skimmer, you kind of need a headline and a graphic and a blurb. But we want to also optimize for the shopper. So what I think we need to work towards, and I think a perfect sales page has some learn more links on it. So here's a high-level explanation of what we do for creating content. Click here to learn more and see examples of our websites. Here's a high-level explanation of how we run ads. Click here to learn more about our Facebook ads and see examples. Hopefully that makes sense, you guys. So I want there to be 1,500 plus word articles that we go to from the learn more, just like what Tyler's doing with the marketer page. That's a great example of sort of, we've got the blurb on the sales page. Now we've got the full page for them to learn more. The other thing that's important is that you have to have multiple primary calls to action. Like, I want you guys to go to the ET Inspires website, etinspires.com, and I want you to go to the Breathe University page. And what you'll notice is that as you scroll, you kind of start off and you see the video of Eric. Then you see some of the accolades. Then you see some of the content that's included. Then you see who the professors are going to be. And what you'll notice is they did a very good job of having more than one call to action. It's like, if you're already sold, like, we don't need you to scroll to the bottom. Like, if you're convinced that at this point you want to join Breathe U, you don't have to keep scrolling. You can just click here. And it's hard to figure out like where that moment is for certain people. For some people, they may get 1/3 down the sales page and want to talk to someone. For some people, they may have to get 3/3 all the way down. So I'd love to see us have multiple primary calls to action as a way to convert. The other thing we need, and this is kind of a new ideology that I've been thinking a lot about, is we also need more than one way to convert. So like one example is right now we have calls to action where you can check availability, you can contact sales, or you could download a video from our founder. So instead of just only letting people contact sales, a different call to action we use is check your area to see if we're available. A different call to action we use is check out a 17-minute video that our founder did where he'll show you the whole system. So it's important to have multiple calls to action, a demo from our founder. Jimmy's actually been talking a lot about like download a pricing guide and a list of current Curaytor clients. Like, or think about this, Steve. Think about the fact that 90% of the people that visit this page, they're not going to go for any of the primary calls to action. But what we want to start doing is we want to start losing them to ourselves. So I actually think that we should have a call to action on the sales page that says, not ready to become a client yet, but want to stay in touch and get our amazing podcasts and webinars and videos and articles? Click here to subscribe. Like, go like our Facebook page, go to our YouTube channel. Like, if we're going to lose somebody, which we're going to lose. You're going to lose 80%, 90%. You're always going to lose a lot of people on a sales page. So let's lose them to ourselves. Let's lose them because they subscribe by email. Let's lose them because they go buy my book. Let's lose them because they go to iTunes to subscribe. And again, let's be confident enough to link out and lose people. You're going to lose them. Lose them to yourself. The other thing, and this is really for John, as our new head of growth, like, we can no longer ask Sarah how the sales page is doing. Like, that is really, like, I'm a big fan of using your gut, using your growth. Like, you guys know I'm on the record for that. But, like, we shouldn't say, hey, Sarah, how's the new sales page doing? Is it doing better than the old one? Like, John, you need to be using Full Story. You need to be using Hotjar. You need to be using heat maps. And you need to be analyzing the shit out of the sales page. And we shouldn't have to ask Sarah ever how it's doing. Now, of course, you always want to talk to sales because you may end up getting a bunch of leads and none of them convert. But when you build a perfect sales page, the leads are going to be quality when you do it the right way. So I really want us to not just launch another sales page. I want us to analyze meticulously what we launch. There's times to use G squared, your gut and your growth. And then there's times to look at real data. And your sales page is one of those times where you should make data-driven decisions, not just use your gut. It is a universal truth that the more expensive what you sell is, the more you have to write about. And so the person that's going to buy the Tesla is going to spend 4 hours on Tesla.com. The person that's going to buy Curaytor is going to spend 40 minutes reading the sales page. So the more you charge, the more copy you need. In closing, guys, the perfect sales page is actually a process. Like there's actually no such thing as a perfect sales page. The perfect sales page is a verb. It's not a noun. The perfect sales page is the rainbow. It's not the pot of gold. We will never have a perfect sales page, but we should never stop trying to have one. Thanks, guys. Hey, this is Chris. Thanks for listening to my call. If you enjoyed the call, please subscribe right now. Also, share the episode and use the hashtag #CallsWithChris. Every week, I choose a few people randomly to win a free signed copy of the conversion code, my USA Today best-selling book. You can also visit Curaytor.com. That's Curaytor.com to learn more about my company, which is the one I'm running during these calls. We help small businesses grow faster, and we've been featured recently by Inc., Forbes, Fortune, and Entrepreneur Magazine.